The unemployment rate is 3.4%. That's a 50-year low. My first 2 years in office, we created 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. 800,000. Gas prices are down $1.60 a gallon. They're going to come down further from their peak. And inflation is coming down. Take-home pay for workers has gone up over the past several months. We got more to do, but I'm telling you, the Biden economic plan is working because of you all.
Speaking my language, you know, I really only want to talk about the economy. And there he was, the president, listing some of his accomplishments earlier today in Maryland. Meanwhile, the Republican House majority has so far been unable to pull together any major legislation. So let's discuss with DNC Chair Jaime Harrison. Jaime, we know what Joe Biden is facing, a divided Congress. Republicans do not want to do anything. We might get nothing done in the next 2 years. But can President Biden take the big policies that were put in place, that were voted on and approved over the last 2 years, implement them in the next two, and that could take him through to the next potential election?
And I think that's what's going to happen, Stephanie. When you look at what Joe Biden has been able to accomplish in 2 years, I mean, you just take one of those things, say infrastructure law. For any other president, that would have been the hallmark program or legislation for the entire 4 years. But this guy has gotten the Inflation Reduction Act, the American Rescue Plan, the CHIPS Act, the PACT Act. I can go on and on and on. These are major accomplishments, and he did them with a 50-50 Senate and less than a 5-seat majority in the House. It's just nothing short of amazing. Most successful administration I've seen in the first 2 years in my lifetime. And so he has so much to be proud of, so much that he has accomplished because he's delivered for the American people. And in the end of the day, Democrats and Republicans are going to have to go to the polls in 2024 and prove what they have done to deliver for the American people. Joe Biden has the record. Kevin McCarthy ain't going to get anything done.
Does that mean he's going to be running again? When do you think we could get an announcement? But because when you look at his schedule right now, he sure looks like he's campaigning.
Well, we were just in Philadelphia with the president and the vice president, and the energy in that room, Stephanie, we had some historic business that weekend, but the energy in that room was just amazing. And the shouts of 4 more years, 4 more years, the president was jubilant and he was feeding off that energy. So hopefully soon.
Nikki Haley said in her announcement speech today, she said she sees her America as strong and proud, not woke and weak. What are you going to do with this, right? Earlier this week in the White House press briefing, the question, is the president woke? How do you counter this?
Well, bottom line is this on Nikki Haley. I was her constituent. She was my governor.
And I'm guessing you didn't vote for her.
No,
guessing.
I did not. And if her whole record is that she wants to do for the nation what she did for South Carolina, God bless us all. Because in the end, she was a disastrous governor. There are potholes in South Carolina right now that are bigger than I am, and that is because of Nikki Haley. Her home hospital closed. She signed one of the most extreme abortion bans. Didn't pass Medicaid expansion.
But the narrative that she has around this, woke, how do Democrats plan? But do Democrats, how do Democrats plan to counter this? Or do you at all? Do you just ignore it?
Oh, I think it's a bunch of noise, because in the end of the day, the American people want to know, what are you doing for me? What are you doing in order to help me put food on the table? What are you doing in order to make sure my children can go to school and not have to worry about somebody coming with guns into the school? That's what the American people want. See, the Republicans are all about the culture war and about fear. You know, the superpower of the Democratic Party is hope. Hope that our better days are ahead of us and not behind us. So you're not going to hear something about make America great again, because we believe America's already great and it's only going to get better in the future. Republicans are always harking on the old past. You know, America, we're a great country. We're a great nation. This president believes that to the core of who he is. And that's what we're going to bank on as we move to 2024.
We've got a lot of public schools sort of embroiled in this culture war stuff, right? We're seeing battle royales at school board meetings, it seems like every single week. And certainly a lot of it has to do with sex education, book banning, how we're teaching race throughout American history. But that's not all. right? There are also parents around this country who are upset about mental health, guns in schools, learning loss during COVID. Is education something that the president, especially given Dr. Jill Biden's passion and experience in education, that he could be leaning into and sort of clearing up the culture war issue on education and real issues that parents are concerned about?
Well, and I think we will, and we'll see that from this president, because he believes, we know that teachers are the most trusted people in the lives of kids and their parents. I know how much we rely on our sons' teachers all the time because they care for our kids. There are teachers who have put their own bodies, their own lives on the line for the kids that they see each and every day. You don't see that much in public, but you see it with teachers. And to see the Republican Party, DeSantis, Haley, and all of them demonize our teachers, it tears me apart. And so we, the Democratic Party, have to stand up and say, you know, the teachers are an important component of our community. We need to cherish them and uplift them, not say we're going to put you in jail for teaching America's history. It is sad, but that is what we see in today's Republican Party. It's all about fear, but this is about hope. That's what we want to teach our kids, hope.
Before we go, the new Democratic primary calendar is putting your state, South Carolina, first in 2024. What was behind that decision? Well, clearly, South Carolina helped Joe Biden.
Well, South Carolina helped Joe Biden, but South Carolina has also delivered on the presidential forum. Since 1992, South Carolina has picked the nominee of the Democratic Party, with the exception of 1 year, and that's when John Kerry and John Edwards ran. John Edwards is from South Carolina, and so he got first, and Kerry was second. But this is typical for Joe Biden. This is the first president to put a black woman on the Supreme Court. We have now more women who've been appointed under Joe Biden, African-American women on the appellate court, than all presidents combined. He sees us, he hears us, and he values each and every one of us. And he said one of the most loyal constituents of the Democratic Party should get an opportunity to pick the most powerful person on the face of this planet. And that's what he did. He rearranged the schedule. South Carolina, Nevada, New Hampshire, Michigan, and Georgia. It looks like America in all of its glory and all of its aspects. And I'm proud of the president, I'm proud of the vice president, and I'm proud of this calendar that we have.
Well, you're just grateful because you live there. Jaime, good to see you. Thank you so much.